Florida, through way of Governor Ron DeSantis, has just confirmed that they are going after Disney on other grounds that include things I've been talking about this entire time. Yes, there really is a confirmation that they're listening, right? That they are paying attention, they are knowing the law, they're getting into the actual relevant law that I have been talking about on this channel for the past 2 to 3 weeks. So it is insane to see the update that Florida has taken, where Florida is learning the law, is learning the relevant provisions here, and is ready to apply it against Disney. Now, obviously, this is being bought by Ron DeSantis is presenting this information, but these are arguments clearly that because the governor understands them, I would understand that the people in the state of Florida understand them and the district understands them, because obviously, yes, they're communicating with Ron DeSantis. They're talking on this case because they're co-defendants in the case. So when they defend, they're going to be using these arguments, and these are the right arguments. So let's listen in. This is insane what DeSantis had to say with an interview with Newsmax in this short clip. So let's listen in and get right into it.
Clearly, you do not have a First Amendment right to corporate welfare. And also, this district was technically not Disney. Now, they had corrupted it and they had run it. But if you're saying it's one and the same, that raises a whole host of other issues, because they've done $1 billion in municipal bonds.
Oh, what? Look, there it is, guys. There's exactly what I was talking about this entire time. This entire time, I've been telling you guys that $1 billion in municipal bonds is a huge, massive issue. This is a giant issue because their reliance on that public-private separation is so critical to that. In fact, it's so critical that it constitutes as an event of default. And actually, let me show you guys that real quick here. So obviously, if you take a look at the bond official statement, these are the bond documents that you can find on websites like Emma. You can pull these up yourself. These are very transparent. As you can see, these are the Reedy Creek bond issuance papers. Now, each bond issuance, to be very clear about this, once again, this is my area of practice, my area of specialty. There's multiple bond issuances. This one, for example, is for $26 million in utility revenue bonds, and then $19 million in utility revenue bonds. So these are a significant amount, but the grand total is going to add up to $1 billion. That's exactly how much they have outstanding. Now, when you get into this document and you scroll down, and I've prepared it over here where I scrolled down to it, you get to a section about events of default. So these are events in which the district, or rather the bonds, are considered in default, that the district has defaulted on those bonds. So let me just put this down here. This is under section I, under events of default. This is, once again, something that people haven't paid attention to until now. And if you look down here right now, it says, if the district shall default in the due and punctual performance of any of the covenants, conditions, agreements, and provisions contained in the bonds or in the indentures. That's a separate promise that they made on the part of the district. One of those promises is that the district was public, that the district was separate, that it was independent. In fact, these are so important that Fitch, one of the credit rating agencies, actually said they may downgrade these bonds because of this huge risk. So this is a risk that has been confirmed, not just because DeSantis is saying it, but an actual rating agency has said, no, this is a legitimate bond risk. We're going to downgrade these bonds because they are now more risky assets. They're not as safe as they usually are, because typically these are very, very, very safe investments. So let's get right back into it with what DeSantis has to say. So once again, right on track, perfectly lining up with everything I've been saying. In fact, I really am wondering if they're watching my videos, because this is like quoting me pretty much verbatim on this bond issue.
So if that was really Disney, then Disney really should have those bonds called to them.
Now, have you talked to Bob Iger? There's been some discussion that you guys should sit down and work it out.
I haven't. I mean, look, the way I viewed it was, we had the skirmish last year. We said no self-government. We implemented that consistent with what I said in the campaign. They're not going to have their own government. They're going to live under the same laws. They're going to pay taxes and pay the debts. And that's where it was headed until Disney pulled this maneuver. So we're in a situation now, forget about all the issues involving that. You can't have a situation where the legislature has spoken and one company just decides to contract out against the will of the people. So we have to be willing to do that, and we will. But at the end of the day, I think that they just have to understand the party is over for them, okay? They had 60 years of privileges that no other corporation in America has had. Whether it was appropriate at the time to get them there, I don't know, but I can tell you this. When that deal was done, it was done that way because Disney promised to build communities and actually build cities where people would be able to live and work, and they never followed through on that promise. Yes.
Okay, so that last part, let me play that again, because this is the video I just was talking about, right? The legislative history. Check out my timeline video. Go back if you haven't seen it, look at my timeline video. I just put that out yesterday. This goes to say precisely what I was saying. Once again, I'm really wondering if they're watching my videos at this point, because this is the premise. Now, some people say, well, they never promised in writing. There's no contract. It's not in the legislation. No, but it's in the legislative history, and it's in the background of RCID, as well as in the 1968 bond case. They promised, and this is in law, in Florida case law, they promised that nothing that Reedy Creek does will primarily benefit Disney. Yes, that's in a court case. So if they are violating that, yes, they are violating the law of Florida. So without that city element, without that residential element, they're really violating the law, because that's what they were supposed to do. That's where they were supposed to go. They were supposed to build a city. They did not do it. Let me play that one more time.
And it was done that way because Disney promised to build communities and actually build cities where people would be able to live and work, and they never followed through on that promise.
So this right there, guys, I think is a fatal blow, and it may be a fatal blow that brings down this $1 billion in bonds. Now, what would happen in the case of an event of default? That would allow the bondholders to sue. Typically, they would sue the district because the district is the one they have contractual privity with. The district would place a lien on property within a district. Yeah, that includes Disney property, and these would become due and payable. That lien will be due and payable by Disney. So once again, this can come directly down on them, and that's not even counting the charges of securities fraud, misuse of public funds. There's a whole slew of criminal, charges, both state and federal, that can be brought against Disney once this case gets rolling. Disney had no idea what they were jumping into when they jumped in the world of municipal finance, public finance. This is a heavily regulated area, and you have to come down hard, because otherwise all these other bonds, these multiple, probably trillions of dollars of bonds in Florida, they're all suspect. They are all under risk. And look, Disney, through its special privileges, is not going to get away with this any longer. Until next time, guys, leave a comment, like, subscribe to the video, and let me know what you think, whether you agree or disagree. Catch you later. Peace.